Today, we have 65 random facts that will blow your mind. The Rockefeller Center Christmas tree is decorated with approximately 50,000 LED lights strung across roughly 5 miles of wire. The coyote is the fastest-growing and farthest-reaching carnivore species in North America. California produces roughly 60% of the roses grown in the United States. Giraffes with darker spots are more dominant than giraffes with lighter spots. And not only that, dark-spotted giraffes also tend to be more solitary. A photon takes 200,000 years to travel from the sun's core to its surface. It takes only 8 minutes for it to hit your eye from the surface. The female opossum has 13 nipples, which is an uncommon characteristic among mammals. From a botanical perspective, corn is a fruit, specifically a type of fruit called a caryopsis, or grain. Fruits are the mature ovaries of plants, containing seeds. Corn kernels are the seeds encased within the cob, which is the fruit itself. The coelacanth is a prehistoric fish that was thought to have gone extinct 65 million years ago, but was rediscovered in 1938. It is believed that they represent an early step in the evolution of fish to four-legged animals. The largest brain on Earth belongs to the adult male sperm whale. It can weigh up to 17 pounds or approximately 7.7 kilograms. No surprise here. The British Library has more than 150 million items, and that number keeps growing. Every year, more than 3 million items are added to the collection. Sunflower is actually a cluster of numerous tiny flowers, known as florets, arranged in a circular pattern called a capitulum. The large, showy petals surrounding the center are ray florets, while the smaller, densely packed florets in the center are disc florets. This unique floral structure is characteristic of the Asteraceae family, which includes sunflowers, daisies, and many other flowering plants. The Maldives is the world's lowest country, with an average elevation of just 1.5 meters or 4.9 feet above sea level. The cougar, or puma, has a curious scientific name, puma concolor, which means single-colored mountain lion in Latin, referring to the animal's typically uniform coloration. Another fact is that it has more names than any other animal. You might know it as a puma, mountain lion, panther, catamount, or one of many other English, native South American, or native North American names. Aviophobia, also known as aerophobia, is the specific phobia of flying. Backgammon is over 5,000 years old. Billiard balls, first mentioned in 1588. This indicates that billiard balls, and consequently the game of billiards, have a rich history stretching back centuries. The cinchona tree, native to South America, is the source of quinine, a highly effective anti-malarial drug in its bark. It's also what gives tonic water, with or without gin, its unique taste. Capuchin monkeys are known for their unique behavior of urine washing. They often apply their own urine to their bodies, particularly their hands and feet. A parsec, it's not just something out of a science fiction novel. It's a real and useful unit of measurement for astronomers. It's used in astronomy to measure large distances, especially those between stars and galaxies. It's equivalent to about 3.26 light years, 30.9 trillion kilometers, or 19.2 trillion miles. Dugongs are large marine mammals, often referred to as sea cows. They are closely related to manatees and are the only living representatives of their family, Dugongidae. The dugong populations in the Great Barrier Reef are increasing, particularly in the northern region. This is due to the abundant regrowth of seagrass, their primary food source. However, it's important to note that this positive trend is localized and doesn't negate the overall challenges faced by dugongs and the reef ecosystem. The Portuguese water dog is a breed of dog that originated in Portugal. They were originally bred to be working dogs for fishermen, helping them with tasks such as retrieving lost gear, herding fish into nets, and acting as messengers between ships. These dogs are known for their intelligence, loyalty, and athleticism. They have a dense, curly coat that is water-resistant, making them well-suited for their original purpose. China shares a land border with 14 different countries, more than any other country's contiguous landmass can boast. From 1958 to 1962, Chairman Mao Zedong of China launched the Four Pests Campaign, which would exterminate rats, flies, mosquitoes, and sparrows. What they didn't realize was that sparrows ate a large number of insects. Without the sparrows to eat them, locust populations grew and helped to create an ecological imbalance that exacerbated the Great Chinese Famine. This famine then resulted in 30 million deaths. That's right. When Chairman Mao ordered the extermination of sparrows, he accidentally sentenced 15 million citizens to death, all because he didn't realize that sparrows were mission-critical for pest control. Cows are not discerning eaters and often accidentally ingest bits of metal found in their fields and feed, leading to a malady called hardware disease. Farmers counteract this by feeding their cows 3-inch long magnets that safely attract metal away from the stomach lining. The magnet remains inside the cow for the rest of its life. It's a clever and effective solution to a potentially deadly problem. Bald eagles are known for their lifelong pair bonds and remarkable nest-building skills. They typically maintain the same nest year after year, adding 1 to 2 feet of new material annually, while most bald eagle nests are 2, 4 feet deep, and 4, 5 feet wide. A record-breaking nest near St. Petersburg, Florida, reached an impressive 20 feet deep, 9.5 feet wide, and weighed over 2 tons. Historically, the Eurasian reindeer and American caribou were considered to be different species, but they are actually one and the same, Rangifer tarandus. There are 2 major groups of reindeer, the tundra and the woodland, which are divided according to the type of habitat the animal lives in, not their global location. And also, reindeer in Eurasia have been domesticated for centuries, while caribou in North America remain wild. Humans can see light in a range of wavelengths, from about 700 nanometers in the red spectrum to 400 nanometers in the violet spectrum. Reindeer can see light to 320 nanometers in the ultraviolet UV range. This ability lets reindeer see things in the icy white of the Arctic that they would otherwise miss. Clouds cover about 60% of Earth at any moment. The Nile crocodile can hold its breath underwater for up to 2 hours. A cat's tail is incredibly flexible and contains about 10% of the total bones in its body. While other animals also have flexible tails, a cat's tail is particularly remarkable for its number of bones. During sleep, the brain actively cleanses itself. Cerebrospinal fluid flushes through the brain tissue, washing away harmful proteins and toxins that accumulate throughout the day. This process is essential for maintaining brain health and preventing neurodegenerative diseases. Anesthesia awareness, also called unintended intraoperative awareness, is a phenomenon as self-explanatory as it is scary. Basically, you're anesthetized for surgery, but then you wake up, to some degree, during the procedure. Affects about 0.15% of general anesthesia patients. 1 to 2 of every 1,000 procedures that require general anesthesia. The ducklings of most duck species are precocial, meaning that they are born with their eyes open, have a layer of downy feathers, and can walk and swim soon after hatching. By the time they're 2 months old, ducklings have usually learned to fly. There are many different species of hedgehog, none of which are native to America. Hedgehogs got their name from their preferred habitat, garden hedges, and the pig-like grunts they make. The Mercator projection hanging up in countless classrooms has been criticized for putting an unrealistic emphasis on Europe. It's the reason many people think Greenland is comparable in size to Africa, when in reality the continent is about 14 times bigger than the island. Measuring coastlines is trickier than you might think. This is called the coastline paradox. Working with smaller units arguably produces more accurate measurements, but it becomes impractical really fast. Measuring coastlines in big units leaves out these divots and bends. Cartographers agree to work in big units and put away the measuring tape. Only two elements on Earth exist in a liquid state at room temperature: mercury and bromine. Tokyo is the world's largest city with 37 million inhabitants. There are more twins now than ever before. This trend is due to the fact that older women tend to have more twins, and women are choosing to start families later. Also, fertility treatments such as in vitro fertilization also play a role. If someone tells you they're sweating like a pig, you might want to point out to them, if you're that sort of person, that if they were being biologically accurate, that would mean they were not sweating at all. Swine are born without sweat glands, so when they need to cool off, their only option tends to be to find a cool puddle of mud they can roll around in. It's easy to forget that the oceans are teeming with life. In fact, 94% of life is aquatic. That means those of us who live on land are part of a very, very small minority. Sanosilicophobia is a great word to break out at a party. It literally means fear of an empty glass. There can only be 5 solar eclipses at most in 1 year. Whether partial, annular, total, or hybrid, there can only be 5 solar eclipses each year. However, this is a rare occurrence. Most years have 2 solar eclipses. Bats give birth to babies, known as pups, that can weigh as much as 1/3 of the mother's weight. If that doesn't sound like a lot, imagine a person giving birth to a baby that weighed 40 pounds or around 18 kilograms. Now observe one of nature's most fascinating evolutionary developments. Among the countless mammals that inhabit our planet, only 3 species experience menopause: the humpback whale, the orca, and humans. This extraordinary adaptation, which scientists have termed the grandmother hypothesis, represents a sophisticated survival strategy that has evolved over millions of years. These post-reproductive females, far from being redundant, perform a vital role in their social groups. By continuing to live well beyond their reproductive years, they contribute their accumulated knowledge and care to the next generations. Due to a combination of dry weather and a fungal disease affecting cocoa crops in West Africa, a major cocoa-producing region, global chocolate production has been significantly impacted. This has led to a worldwide shortage of chocolate, as the demand for this popular treat continues to outpace supply. The long-term trend of increasing chocolate consumption, coupled with these recent challenges, raises concerns about future availability. The Northern Hemisphere holds 90% of the world's population. A zebra-striped horse model attracts far fewer horseflies than either homogeneous black, brown, gray, or white equivalents. The stripes can disrupt the horsefly's ability to focus their vision, making it difficult for them to land on the zebra's body. Bottlenose dolphins exhibit a stronger right-side bias in their behaviors compared to humans. While humans are about 90% right-handed, studies have found that bottlenose dolphins display an even more pronounced right-side preference, around 95%, particularly in tasks like using their snouts to investigate objects or during foraging activities. This lateralization is believed to be linked to brain hemisphere specialization, similar to handedness in humans. In the vast expanses of Australia, we witness a remarkable population surge. The kangaroo, that iconic marsupial of the outback, has experienced an extraordinary increase in numbers. From approximately 27 million in 2010, their population has swelled to an astonishing 45 million by 2016. This dramatic change presents both challenges and opportunities for the Australian ecosystem. To ensure her dominance, the queen mole rat works to make it impossible for other female mole rats to have litters. In fact, the queen can produce pheromones in her urine that inhibit the reproductive cycles of subordinate females. Lesotho is the only country that's an enclave of a single country and entirely landlocked at such a high altitude. Its lowest point is still over 1,400 meters, or 4,593 feet above sea level. Despite being highly adapted to aquatic environments, hippopotamuses are unable to swim. Their dense bodies prevent them from floating. So, rather than swimming, hippos propel themselves underwater by pushing off the riverbed or walking along the bottom, utilizing their slightly webbed feet for gentle propulsion. Puffins are known for their distinctive appearance and monogamous mating habits. They often form long-lasting pair bonds and return to the same breeding site each year. Your lungs are filled with tiny sacs called alveoli that draw oxygen from the air you breathe into your bloodstream. In total, the average adult has around 600 million of these alveoli, and their combined surface area is roughly the size of a tennis court. Despite their name, horseshoe crabs are more closely related to arachnids like spiders and scorpions than they are to crustaceans like crabs. Archaeological evidence suggests that the proportion of left-handed individuals has remained relatively stable over millennia, at around 10%. The discovery of ancient tools designed for left-handed use supports this theory. This consistency in handedness prevalence throughout history indicates a deep-rooted biological basis for left-handedness. While we have several well-preserved T-Rex skeletons, unfortunately, scientists have yet to discover a completely intact one. There are approximately 15 significant T-Rex skeletons, with 2 being particularly well-preserved and considered nearly complete. The Diderot effect describes a psychological phenomenon where acquiring a new possession can trigger a chain reaction of additional purchases. This occurs as we strive to maintain harmony and consistency within our belongings. When a new item, often of higher quality or aesthetic appeal, is introduced, it can disrupt the existing balance. To restore harmony, we may feel compelled to replace or upgrade other items to match the new acquisition. This can lead to a spiral of consumption, as one purchase leads to another. Wild turkeys can fly up to 60 miles per hour and often roost in trees, especially at night, for safety and to avoid predators. Humans have about 9,000 taste buds, while dogs have only around 1,700. Along the Pacific coast, we find one of Earth's most remarkable organisms, the giant kelp. These marine giants can grow at an astonishing rate of 2 feet per day, creating vast underwater forests that shelter countless species. They are, in essence, the architects of their marine ecosystem. Deep in the tropical forests, leafcutter ants have developed what can only be described as a sophisticated farming system. These remarkable insects cultivate their own food source, a specialized fungus, in vast underground chambers, demonstrating one of nature's most impressive examples of agricultural behavior. In the microscopic world of our own bodies, a remarkable cycle of renewal takes place. Our taste buds undergo a constant process of regeneration. Every 10 days, these remarkable structures are replaced. You might think it's just their fur, but no, tigers have striped skin, too. And speaking of those stripes, much like our fingerprints, they're unique to every tiger. Think you've got what it takes to master trivia? Test your brain power over on the community tab with daily quizzes that'll challenge your smarts and keep you sharp. And so we come to the end of today's remarkable journey. But nature's extraordinary story never truly ends. It continues to unfold in countless fascinating ways across our planet. If you'd like to explore more of these incredible natural wonders, do consider subscribing to our channel. Each week, we venture into new territories, uncovering the hidden facts of our world. You might also find interest in our previous videos, so check them out. Thank you for joining me in this extraordinary exploration of our living planet.